Hello, you guys. I am Sharzat Morgan, and today I'm going to review a couple chapters in Dr. Robert Glover's book, Dating Essentials for Men. This is such a fabulous book, and there are a lot of things that women can learn from it too. I'm going to take things a little bit out of order. I'm going to start with the last few chapters, which have to do with how to pick a really great woman and how to end a relationship, because I've heard so many men say, I'm not dating because I'm afraid I'll end up in a bad relationship. There are men who can get women, but they're afraid because they have seen really bad outcomes. They don't know how to pick the women well. And as he says in this book, that if you don't know how to get out, you probably don't want to get in. So a critical skill is you probably won't risk getting in if you're not sure you can get out. So I want you to feel really confident that you can get out. Now, there are also men who struggle with, how can I talk to women? I'm afraid of rejection. That's what the first part of this book is about. That's what the majority of this book is about. But I want to talk on this other part about making good choices, because even the people that are struggling with, I don't know how to talk to women, I'm afraid of rejection, they also need to know that you don't have to settle for just any woman that you can finally catch. Now, what a lot of guys do, and his books are really targeted more towards men who are people pleasers, men who are afraid of talking to women, and so on, who have limiting beliefs, negative mindsets, who are afraid to get out of their comfort zone and go to places and talk to people, and who stay in relationships way too long and pick really bad women. His books are not geared toward like the grandiose guy or the player or the pickup artist, really. So, and he has workbooks. He has a workbook, and he teaches men's seminars and workshops. So you might want to check out his website. Anyway, the way that most people date is absolutely the worst foundation for dating, because a lot of people, and I'm going to include women in this, start dating someone and they just fall into a relationship kind of like by accident, more or less. They're not really making good choices, okay? Like, here's a typical guy. He has no plan. He just believes he's lonely. So he meets a woman who shows some interest in him, and if she isn't too unattractive or too attractive, he asks her out. He tries to make a good impression. He starts talking with her on the phone and emailing her often. He gives up most of the things that were important to him in order to be with her. If she's willing, they start having sex. He ignores all the red flags and warning signs. And even if the relationship goes south, he does everything he can to keep it together, because he doesn't want to be lonely again or start dating all over. Can you see how that's a recipe for disaster? So this is what you're going to do. Okay, the 5-5 rule. So you're going to make a list of 5 things that you must have in your really great woman. 5 things that you must have that would be deal breakers. And I'm not talking about big tits and a big ass. You're going to look for personality traits. Of course, you have to be attracted to her, but they could be things like honesty, fidelity, passion, humor, financial stability, passion, and sex. For example, you make your own list. And then you're going to have 5 things that you will not tolerate. 5 things you will not tolerate, like deceit, infidelity, addictions, sloth, laziness, anger issues, mood disturbances. Okay? And this is going to help you be really clear on what you must have and what you will not tolerate. Okay? All right. Now, the next thing you have to realize is that you're going to have to go through a lot of frogs to get your really great woman. The majority of women you meet will not be your really great woman. Your really great woman is, you only have a 5% chance of any woman that you're meeting being your really great woman. The majority of women will be good women, but they won't not be your really great woman. A good woman could be a woman that maybe, there's some language barrier or different socioeconomic status, or somehow she's just not suitable for you. Okay? But the really great woman has all the characteristics that you have on your list. And do not confuse the really great woman with the one. Do not get stuck in one-itis, because there will be many really great women. There isn't just one in the world for you. And also, do not think that a woman you have known for only a few weeks is your really great woman. It takes about 3 years to determine if this is your really great woman. So again, when guys who are afraid to start dating, it's because you don't know these basics. You have to take it slow and take your time and look for the red flags and have your list. And okay, so the good woman, we talked about that. But if you go with the good woman, you're probably going to try to change her and you'll always be a little bit dissatisfied. So don't settle for that. Then you also have wrong women. Wrong women make up the majority of the women you will meet. They're wrong for you for a number of reasons. I had it mixed up before. The good women are good, but they just have a few things that you wish were different. The wrong women have wrong things that are wrong for you, like the age, the language barrier, educational differences, relationship status. You know, like she could be a great gal, but she's married, or she lives on the other side of the world, or she doesn't speak your language, you know. So you're going to meet a lot of wrong women, and you will usually know it in 30 seconds or less. But here is where a lot of guys get hung up. A lot of people, and again, women do this too, pick the really wrong woman. They overlook the red flags. Really wrong women are going to make your life miserable. They are disasters waiting to happen, and getting involved with one of these women may haunt you for the rest of your life. Here is a partial list of what makes a really wrong woman. She's unavailable, dishonest or deceitful, a drama queen, meaning she's moody, insecure, jealous, or self-righteous, angry, rageful, abusive, resentful, passive-aggressive, or vindictive, controlling, demanding, or manipulative, critical, demeaning, or argumentative, like gaslighters, a perpetual victim, or a man-hater, a woman who has borderline personality disorder, who is bipolar, obsessive, or chronically depressed, a woman who has unrecovered sexual abuse, a woman with an obsessive need for male attention and a history of infidelity, addiction set to alcohol, drugs, spending, or shopping, eating disorders such as obesity, bulimia, or anorexia. And here, if you want to take a screenshot, I'm going to put these up here for you. Here's part 1. And then here's the second part of the list. You're going to recognize the average run-of-the-mill wrong woman very quickly, but you're not going to recognize the really wrong woman because they come with a number of traits that make you get hooked into them. The first reason that you're likely to fall for the really wrong woman is because these women are often very seductive. And I've known women like that. They're very seductive. They're very sexual. They exude all the sexual energy and helplessness. they're needy, they're helpless, they're like very charming. They use their humor, their intelligence, helplessness, neediness, anger, and sexuality to seduce you. And they'll be very charismatic, I think, too. So if you are taken in by that and don't see that there's anger or neediness or helplessness or them like putting you on a pedestal, okay, so you got to look for that. See, this is why, we need to educate people not just about reading and math and economics and money, but also about relationships. The second reason that you will fall for a really wrong woman is if you're dysfunctional, because her dysfunction will fit so well with your own. You will be attracted to the worst kind of woman for you because she gives you the opportunity to play out your own dysfunction. If you have no boundaries, if you're acting out of need to rescue an unhappy woman, such as you did with your mother, or if it feels normal to be criticized, treated badly, or abandoned, a really wrong woman will look really attractive to you and she will eat you alive. Okay? So, at the first hint of unavailability, rage, jealousy, control, infidelity, addiction, bitterness toward past partners, moodiness, argumentativeness, run and don't look back. Okay? Now, when people are dating, a lot of people wear their representative, they bring out their representative or their mask. They're people who are always whoever they are. I consider myself like that. But a lot of people put on like this false front, this persona, and then you're getting to know a persona. They don't really let it slide to you, really get to know them. That's why it is so important. In order to find a really great woman, you have to go as slowly as possible to find out as quickly as possible what her nature is and how she fits into your life. So the red flags are based on your 5-5. So a deal killer. So if you have something that you won't tolerate, that's also going to be a red flag, in addition to the things that I already outlined before. The biggest mistakes that bad daters make is that they ignore red flags or minimize them or think that these women will change. And every time when I ask someone, hey, someone that is like in a heck of a mess in their relationship with a certain problem, hey, were there any signs of this in the beginning? And always there were. And often people are surprised that they overlook the signs. Now, the philosophy of dating really is that to find a really great woman, it's a numbers game. You're going to have to meet a lot of frogs. You have to meet a lot of people. Don't expect like a really great woman to just walk into your life. You have to be kind of aware of it and look for it. And so this brings us to the other part of this, which is you have to know how to end it. See, if you know what to look for and you know how to end it, then you do not have to be afraid of dating. So this video is for my guys who are afraid of dating, who are afraid of relationships, who are afraid of getting hurt. I meet so many men who are like really wonderful men, and I want, there are so many women that are hungry for really wonderful men, but these men are afraid because they don't know this stuff. That's why I'm making this video. And Dr. Glover said that he was married twice. And when he ended his second marriage in 2002, he had been married for 25 years altogether to 2 women. And he should have ended it after the second date. So that's an example that he uses on himself of how he just started dating someone and he fell into a relationship and he just stayed in it. And being a powerful ender is very important, because when you have good boundaries and you do not owe anyone a relationship, you don't have to be afraid of hurting someone's feelings. When a relationship or a woman isn't right for you, you have to end it. So he has a whole chapter on how to end it, and he calls it catch and release. He talks about why men don't want to end it, what their fears are, okay? And maybe this could also be a reason that women are the ones that file for the majority of divorces, because men have a lot of fears about it. Now, and he gives tips for how to break it up. If it's been after 1 date or after 3 dates, or if it's been after more than a month of regular sex, and that you do not owe anyone an excuse. You don't not want to give a reason that someone can argue with. You don't have to give a reason. You don't have to say, we should end this. You use an I message. I am ending this. You make a clear statement. I need to end this. You don't try to soften it. You don't try to break it easy. You don't say it's not you, it's me. You use a 2-sentence rule. Okay, I am ending this. And don't just wait for the woman to end it. Don't just start being a jerk, hoping that she will end it, or hoping she'll fall in love with someone else, or hoping she'll leave. Be accountable. Take the action. Just end it. So he says, since women are security-seeking creatures, they will probably be more upset with you ending it than you will be. And you have to be willing to be seen as the jerk. But he also has, he says, being a good ender is critical to dating. You have to be a good ender. Don't even go on any dates until you know you can be a good ender. And that's going to give you the confidence, yeah, I can go out with someone and I can end it. Because that gives you the power. You do not have to you don't have to date someone. You don't have to get married to someone just because you went out on a date. So here's some basics for breaking up effectively. After 1 date, if you don't want to see her again after the first date, just shake your hand and say, it was nice to meet you. Good luck with your dating. If she says she wants to see you again, tell her then that you don't feel enough chemistry to keep dating. Don't tell her you'll call her if you're not going to. Okay? After 2 to 3 dates, if you haven't had sex and you've gone on 2 to 3 dates, it's okay to just quit calling. He says it's okay to just quit calling. Or you can send her an email telling her that you enjoyed getting to know her but don't feel enough chemistry to keep dating. Now, he also talks about how when you are dating someone, that you can have a discussion about if you feel like this is no longer aligned, this relationship is no longer working for you, what are the steps that each of you will go through to end the relationship? So, I don't know, I might make a video on a few other, this book is just so chock full, like this is just, a couple pages of the book and I spent almost 20 minutes on it. This is just such a good book. It also comes with a workbook. And I really recommend this book. Ladies, the same goes for us. Like, if we, any ladies that want to date, have a list of 5 things you must have. And don't say things like, he's got to be rich or whatever. Personality traits that you must have, and 5 things that you will not tolerate that will keep you going. And be willing to meet a lot of frogs to find a prince. Be willing to end it if that person doesn't have the things on the list. And look for these red flags. The same red flags that he applied to the women also apply to men. Stay away from people with mental health issues, addictions, uncontrolled rage, any kind of trauma that haven't gone through therapy for, anybody who has a history of infidelity, undue attention seeking. I would not say having a lot of sexual partners to me is not a red flag, but infidelity is, or needing male attention. For example, I've had a lot of sexual partners as part of exploring my sexuality, and I've always been monogamous in all my relationships. Well, I did one time before I got married to my husband. I did have sex with somebody else because I wasn't sure if I wanted to marry my husband or not. But when I was married, in all my other relationships in my marriage, I was monogamous. But I have had a lot of sexual partners. So, some people might not like that, but I'm just saying, to me, having had sexual partners is not a red flag, but infidelity is, because it means that you're okay with being dishonest and looking for male attention. Like, why did you have a lot of sexual partners? Were you um, exploring your sexuality? Were you looking for male attention, validation, or reenacting your trauma? So I think that's really important. Mental health issues. I don't even want any female friends. I don't want any friends with mental health issues. My compassion to you, but I don't want that. I don't want, my life is good, and I only want to bring other good people into it, because again, our lives are very heavily impacted by the people that we bring into our lives, and the closer into our lives they are, the more they impact us. So if someone's depressed or has borderline personality disorder or is bipolar, that is going to like ruin your life. It's gonna make your life hell. And then especially if you have children with them, someone who's financially unstable, someone who lies, these are all things that can make your life a living hell. So I really like the other parts of this book where he talks about the lies that your mind tells you about yourself. And this is really good for the guys, especially in the manosphere, in the incel community, who tell themselves lies about, their height or their abs. All mental lies, not even based in reality. And I might make a video about that at some other point. But I really was inspired to speak to men who are afraid of dating because they feel completely powerless around, how to determine if a woman is safe. Because a wrong woman can not only break your heart, but mess up your life. Emotionally, financially, with your children and everything. So you want to make sure that you pick healthy people. So you have to be a healthy person. Pick healthy people and know when to end something that isn't aligned for you. And so this is like a really great resource. Those of you who are people pleasers, if you get friend zoned or you're a people pleaser and you have trouble with boundaries, I highly recommend his first book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. It's very good stuff. And unfortunately, the majority of the people that are interested in learning about relationships are usually women, else he would be on the bestseller list already. So I'm hoping that more men, this is a treasure trove. I'm gonna ask him at some point if I can interview him for my YouTube channel, and I hope he will, but we'll see. I haven't asked him yet, but that's on my bucket list. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and have a wonderful rest of your day.